viewers on our YouTube channel. Yes, you heard right. A channel is obviously a success because of its viewers, and even though in spite of the time and energy being invested in this video, it sounds to be successful only if it completes its task and the viewers learns and acquires the rays of knowledge from it. Welcome to Medicology. I am a well-known medicologist, and I am here to make you being able to study medicine like a fun, and will ensure that you will be fully able to visualize even the complex mechanisms in a very feasible manner. Come on, let's start up this session to generate command over medicine. Today's session, as being evident from the previous video, is about action on body systems due to the interaction of peripherally acting neuromuscular drugs. Let us study the site of action of these drugs. These drugs act prominently on the herein described 6 body systems that are musculoskeletal system, that comprises of skeletal muscles, in the GI activity, in the autonomic ganglia, in the histamine release, in the CNS activity, and finally in the cardiovascular system activity. Now let us study the action of these drugs on body systems in detail. Firstly, we will be studying the musculoskeletal system. The non-depolarizing blockers are rapid in action and produces weakness, that is, followed by paralysis of the muscles. Firstly, the shorter and the rapidly acting muscles get paralyzed. Now let us study how the different muscles in the body varies in view of action by these neuromuscular blockers. The muscles that are paralyzed first by these blockers are in the herein mentioned sequential order. Firstly, the small muscles of the fingers get paralyzed, then the ocular muscles get paralyzed, then the muscles of the hand get paralyzed, that is followed by the paralysis of the muscles of the feet, then the muscles of the arm is paralyzed, that is further followed by the paralysis of the muscles of the legs. Then the muscles of the neck get paralyzed. Then the muscles of the face get paralyzed. That is followed by the paralysis of the muscles of the trunk. Then the intercostal muscles get paralyzed. And finally the diaphragm gets paralyzed. That leads to cessation of the breathing and causes apnea. Now let us move our discussion even further. The rate at which muscle paralysis attains its highest peak effects and the complete paralysis of those certain muscles is seen. This whole is proportional upon certain factors. Let us see what are the various factors that are proportional for the optimal paralysis of certain muscles. The factors upon which this peak functionality is dependent are firstly, the type of neuromuscular blocking agent that is being medicated, and that is followed by the dosage and frequency of giving these agents, and that is further followed by, it is also dependent upon the type of the anesthesia being applied during the surgery, that further is dependent on the hemodynamic conditions, and further dependent upon the renal and the liver functions. When the neuromuscular blocking agent is metabolized or the action of the neuromuscular block is completed, the paralyzed muscles recovers its tonicity and becomes normal. The cascade of events that are seen in the recovery from the neuromuscular block is that in which diaphragm recovers and gains its tonicity. After that, it is followed by the recovery of the intercostal muscles Then the muscles of the trunk gets recovered. That is followed by the recovery of the muscles of the face. Then the muscles of the neck gets recovered. That is followed by the recovery of the muscles of the legs. Then the muscles of the arm get recovered. Then the muscles of the feet get recovered. That is followed by the recovery of the muscles of the hand. Then the ocular muscles get recovered. And finally, the small acting muscles of the finger gets recovered. Succinylcholine, when given, is very faster in nature. That it causes apnea in the 50 to 90 seconds. However, this drug in itself acts for 2 to 5 minutes, and after that, a faster recovery is seen. Now let us move towards the next section depicting the action of these drugs on the body systems. And on the number 2, we will be studying the action on gastrointestinal system. The neuromuscular blocking agents shows the ganglionic blocking activity on the GI tract that shows enhanced chances for being presenting a paralytic ileus after an abdominal surgery. Now on our next section at number 3, we will be studying the action of these drugs on the autonomic ganglia. The cholinergic receptors that are present at the autonomic ganglia are of nicotinic type, although they are of N-type nicotinic receptors. The drugs that has a competitive blocking tendency produce some degree of ganglionic block. In view of this class of drugs, D-tubocurarine is optimally functional for this action. However, succinylcholine that are directly acting agent, as been taught in our previous video, the succinylcholine act on nicotinic receptors and show its agonistic action on the ganglions. As we are moving further, I hope that you are not getting bored, so stay connected and make sure that you have a functional Wi-Fi or mobile network so that you can fully enjoy the graphical representations. Relax, things are soon to be connected and correlated for our valuable viewers' easy comprehension. Come on, let's look at the section 4, that is action of these drugs on the histamine regulation. D-tubocurarine releases histamine from the mast cells. D-tubocurarine stimulates mast cells and release more and more histamine that will be resulting in hypotension. The effects of this histamine release are bronchospasm, flushing of the skin, and increase in the respiratory tract secretions. Now let's move on the 5th section, that is the action of these drugs on central nervous system. The neuromuscular blockers are structurally quaternary compounds that do not cross blood-brain barrier, and thereby the IV injection of these drugs do not produce any effect on the central nervous system. Come on, it is finale! Let us look at the 6th section, that is action of these drugs on the cardiovascular system. The drug D-tubocurarine results in the significant fall of blood pressure. The decrease in blood pressure is due to 3 actions of these drugs, that are to be ganglionic blockage, release of histamine, and reduction in the venous return. Now let us look at this thing. The drugs pancuronium and vecuronium both tends to cause tachycardia. The drug succinylcholine shows variable effects on the cardiovascular system that firstly causes bradycardia, that is due to activated vagal ganglia, that is followed by tachycardia and thus increasing the blood pressure. It is seen that in certain conditions, prolonged administering succinylcholine can cause cardiac arrhythmias and even cardiac arrest. This cardiac arrest is caused by the efflux of more and more potassium ions towards outside the cell, which is evident by the increased depolarization of the skeletal muscles. For studying the pharmacokinetics and toxicity of peripherally acting neuromuscular drugs, please refer to our other videos. We hope that you liked this video, and if you liked our efforts to provide you premium information, then do hit the like button, share this video with your buddies, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on so that you can get timely notifications of our next videos. You can also follow us on Instagram at Medicology Mastering Medicine to get to know what topic video we are gonna make and put next on this creative and innovation based channel. Till then, grow on the bright side of mastering medicine.